Hello and very warm welcome everyone. This is a part 2 where I will be sharing with you how to create amazing card with the help of the corner punch. My friends, let me know down below in a comment if you just came in here after watching the first part, and if you haven't watched the first part, this is where I'm actually taking you step by step with this technique, and I'm sharing with you all the tips how to perfectly line up the corner punch so you could create this beautiful lovely arches and wavy patterns using your corner punch. So here I'm just doing it in a quicker play because I want to show you the idea for the card of how can you incorporate it, but in the first part, which is linked over the top, you can actually see the step by step with more explanation. So here I have this scrap piece of the paper which I cut in half so I could have two arches, and this idea was actually, it came up to me when I was cleaning my desk and I found this little half of the circle. It's not even like a half, it's just teeny tiny bit leftover piece which I cut from another card. So this is brilliant. I love that whenever I have this leftover piece which I would probably throw to the bin before, now I'm just trying to be less wasteful as possible, and this is actually fantastic because this is what's kind of open up my creativity. I have this little leftover piece which then forced me to think like, okay Marta, what can you do with this piece? Are you throwing it away, or is it worth to kind of have second thought and turn it into the card? And most of the cases, I must to tell you my friends, that those kind of second cards, I call them, this is like leftover projects, they are coming so beautifully. In my last video where I chopped the ready-made card in half because I didn't like the top part, this top part was actually turned into a beautiful card, and I even loved it more than my original idea. So here I am cutting the strip of the white paper, well, not strip, the piece of the paper, it's quite large one, which is actually the exactly same width as this piece of the embossed pattern. And I did so because I wanted to have a little backing area, and I also thought it will be looking nice if I will add this gold accent to these cards, to this card I am creating. I thought this little extra blink would be bringing more luxurious touch to the card. So here I am attaching those two, it's not half circles, I don't even know how to call this shape. Let me know if you've got the proper word for the piece like that, or maybe like a moon, half moon or something. I don't know, but anyway, I am attaching them to these white pieces which I've created this beautiful lacy pattern with the border punch, and then I will be attaching a teeny tiny gold strip. I think this is such a way to take your cards to the next level. You don't really need a lot of this mirror cardstock or shiny paper, that could be holographic one as well, but teeny tiny bit is always just make your cards pop out even more. This teeny tiny bit of the shininess is just this extra cherry on the top, in my opinion. Let me know if you agree, or do you like to add some other, like a glitter paper, anything? What's your favorite one? Here is the most useful tip out of everything. If you have teeny tiny strip of the paper, rather than fiddling with the glue, just make a blob of the glue on your hand and just smear it through. No more glue oozing out everywhere, like making marks on your desk or any other area. You can just, such a quick way you can add this adhesive to teeny tiny strip. And if you don't like touching the glue with your hand, you can leave it on the acrylic block or something like that, but just put a blob of the glue and just kind of glide through your teeny tiny pieces, and you will see that instantly you have them perfectly covered with adhesive and ready to be put on the card. And once I attach my tiny strips, I always like to kind of gently press with my bone folder. This is just to make sure it's properly adhere. Here I have this piece with the embossed design, and I didn't do the great job when I was cutting it out. When you use your guillotine to cut the embossed paper, you have to act quickly, because the slower you go with your cutting guillotine, the more like uneven bits you will have. And later on I will be trimming another piece, so you'll see what I mean. And here I trimmed the backing area of those two elements, just so they're not gonna be overlapping behind this little panel. And then I am kind of trying to adhere them like evenly right in the center. And once I adhere one element on the side of this embossed panel, then I am doing exactly the same thing on the other side, trying to kind of match them up so they will look like this panel is adhered on top of these two rounded elements. And once I'm happy with it, I'm making sure that everything is adhered nicely, then I will be placing this element on my guillotine, and I'm just putting it right up till the edge with this embossed panel, and I'm chopping off the rest. You can use the scissors, of course, but I just find that the guillotine will give you this nice professional even touch. And look on this element, isn't it looking gorgeous? I think it reminds me those kind of very popular like a pill shaped dice, which are super nice, but I don't have anything like that, so here I kind of recreate that. Now I'm gonna be adding the same embossing design to the panel, which I will be placing underneath my focal point element, and I'm trying to kind of marry it up so I will have the same continuation of the pattern. It's not gonna be very much visible. I think it's just unnecessary stop. It's just something I am always trying to make sure everything is so nice and neat and evenly spaced up, but you can skip this all lining up process, or you can even use the different embossing folder. And if you don't have any die cutting machine, you don't use embossing folders, you can actually place your paper on the scoring board and create some horizontal line or something, or some other pattern. That way you will have some additional extra feature to your paper, rather than using the plain white one. But the plain one will be fine as well. What I'm sharing in every of my videos, and I'm trying to highlight this, that you don't have to follow my cards like one by one every single step. If you prefer to make it simpler, you can make it simpler, or if you have some other ideas, you would like to add some extra steps, you've of course you are more than welcome to do that. This is just the idea. Every single video I'm trying to bring you the maximum, like what you can do and how you can upgrade your cards. So you can add this strip, you can add the embossing, you can do this and that. So you will have, after watching the video, you will have several ideas for you to use on your card. And now another thing here, what I've noticed, I thought this will be looking better if I will put this element on top of the colored card. And here I have this double-sided paper. This is the freebie which I've printed. This is my own design, and I have the link to the freebie down below if you're interested. And I thought this will be nice to have this kind of a colorful background, and that way my card is already dressed up on the inside as well. Here, because I don't want to use the entire panel of this gold mirror paper, I'm just placing it on my trimmer. I have this little washi tape trick to keep my frames equal, and that way I can save up the entire piece, which would be otherwise adhere underneath this white embossed panel. So here I am attaching my frame, and this on its own, it's a nice idea for a card. Try to do it at some point, have this nice large panel of the floral image or something else, any other design paper, and just dress it up with the golden frame. You can add nice bold sentiment and couple of the flowers, and this is super easy idea for a card, but I'm not gonna do it today because I am attaching the white panel on top of that. And very important thing, the mirror paper tends to bend. It's kind of like to curve up a little bit, especially once you add adhesive. So always make sure to add some extra layer of the glue to the corners. This is what I'm doing here, and I am pressing firmly, making sure it's nicely secured. That way it will give you the very nice professional finish look as well. Here I am adding plenty of the liquid adhesive, and I am smearing it with my fingers. I'm making sure that there are no glue blobs on the paper, so that won't be causing any warping of the card base. And once I'm happy, I am then positioning it, and I love working with the liquid adhesive. This is the main advantage of working with liquid adhesive on in comparison to the tape, is that you have this room to wiggle. You can slightly move your elements, and once the adhesive will dry, it will catch for good, and no card will be falling apart within a year or so, because I had the same examples happen to me, that the card which was completed with the double-sided foam tape, it was just falling apart. And here you can see how gorgeous this design looks like. I'm absolutely in love with this card, and I don't know, let me know what you think. It's not even finished yet, but I just love the shape of this design, like those two arches. I think they just adding this such a nice elegance. To add a little extra dimension to this element, I am just backing it with the foam tape. And here, whenever you struggle to take off your release paper, you can use some sharp object. That could be X-Acto knife, that could be a couple other things as well, because you don't have to use the X-Acto knife. That could be a scissors, that could be your tweezers, or like a shaping tool with this a pointy end. Whatever you have, this is such a big help, especially when you're struggling with those release papers. I'm also adding additional layer of the hot glue in between the foam tape, just to secure it in place, and also that will give me a little extra room to wiggle my elements, so I know it's positioned perfectly. And here, to dress up my card, because the design is pretty much complete, all I have to do is just add some sentiment and a couple of the finishing touches. And because I already have plenty of the gold pieces, like here and there little strips, I also decided to add the layer of the gold mirror paper underneath my sentiment. And I'm trying to keep up the same kind of a thickness of the frame between the elements, so that way it's also something which will give this nice cohesive look and professional finish. To complete the card, I'm also adding this floral element, and this is free ephemera elements to cut, which are included in this I Do in Blue paper design, which was the free collection, which I've already mentioned. The link is down below in the description area. Here I'm adding this nylon cord, which I turn into a double bow. And last thing I want to share with you, whenever you have the floral design papers, you can also fussy cut some elements, and this is something which we quite often forget about, but you have some ready-made flowers there. So if you have some old floral paper pads, things like that, and you haven't used that paper as on the card, you can always try to have a look and see whether you can cut a couple of the extra elements out of it. So that way here I have some extra flowers to dress up my card, which then will be matching perfectly with the design paper, because they are coming from the design paper. So that's another way where you can stretch your papers to actually fussy cut something out of it, and that way you have this additional ephemera bits. To help my sentiment pop up nicely, I am adding the layer of the hot glue, and then I will be attaching it kind of right in the center. But before I will attach the sentiment, I'm trying to build up the little floral composition. And once I attach my bow, I am then attaching those little paper flowers, which I fussy cut from the design paper. And then I will place my sentiment on top of it, trying to keep it right in the center. And this is such a lovely design, and I know I've been saying that a lot, but I'm just in love with this card. Sometimes from time to time I don't know, I think every card maker has this point whenever you create something and you really really like it, and especially that this was unintentional. This was just like a side project. I wasn't even sure if shall I film it, but then I thought like, okay, I'm gonna be creating this arch from the paper punch, so I'm just gonna film the process so you could see how am I creating this punch, this lovely arch border. And then I show you what you can do with this, how you can turn this little element into a card, and I'm just in love. So here, to finish off this card, I am adding a couple of the little gold pearls as a flower centers, and I also added couple pearls to the side of this white panel, and that will be my card for today. I hope these two videos has bring you a good inspiration and has let your creative energy flowing. If you decide to create something either with these free printable papers or based upon my tutorials, please share. We have a Facebook group where you can show your work, or you can post it here on a YouTube community page. That will be me for today. Thank you so very much to everyone who watched both of my videos, and I'm really appreciating all your support and being here on my YouTube channel. I am wishing you all a fabulous day. Stay blessed, and bye bye.